Welcome to 6 Minutes. I'm Jason Fulmore. Today I'm here with Bailey Wilkins. Bailey, how are you?
Good.
So Bailey, now up, actually, are you sitting in your dorm?
I am.
All right, sitting in your dorm at Gardner Webb?
Yes, sir.
All right, awesome. So how long you been on campus?
I think I moved in on the 17th, I'm pretty sure, of August.
Okay, so a few weeks now.
Yes, sir.
All right, and how do you like campus, school? Fill us in for the first few weeks of college.
It's small, but there's not a lot to do, but like you hang out with your teammates a lot and you go to the river and stuff. But cool, we had to quarantine the first week, so there wasn't really much we could do the first week, but I enjoy it.
Yeah. So what are you majoring up there?
I haven't declared my major yet, but it's probably going to be like an exercise science type major.
Okay. All right. Awesome. So you guys have not. You and I were texting before we got on, and you're in non-contact, like still kind of separated, that sort of thing, because of the quarantine stuff. How is that going? Are you just getting kind of conditioned at the moment?
So, well, right now we got pushed back a little bit because some people like had symptoms. So, but last week we were lifting at 5:30, 6 a.m. to about 7:30, and then at 2:30 we'll run probably the perimeter, which is about 4 miles.
Okay. All right. So, and then any ideas when you guys will actually be able to get on the mats and start, making things happen?
Well, we were supposed to get on the mats actually today, but we're gonna have to wear masks, but it got pushed back, so we can't work out till the 11th. So hopefully next week we can start our condition like phase 2, and then start conditioning over again, and then the next week we can get on the mats.
Okay. So why Gardner Webb? You're from South Carolina, and I'm going to ask you about South Carolina wrestling, but you're now up in North Carolina. For people who don't know, it's what, Boiling Springs? Is that right? Yeah, up in North Carolina. So not too terribly far away from home. But why GW?
So my Coach Whitmore and Coach Beard at Rocky High, they wrestled here.
Oh, okay.
So they kind of like put it in my head to like think about it as a school. And then my club coach, Coach Avola, he knew Coach Elliott pretty well, and they all texted him and got my name in there. And then he came and to Holy Angels and watched me a little bit. And then I came up here when they wrestled the Citadel, and I just kind of liked the way he coached and stuff like that. He was like passionate about it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So Gardner Webb's a small school. SoCon, so you actually will probably see some people you've seen over the last 4 years on other teams and that sort of thing. Anybody that you've wrestled in the past that sits at the Citadel or sits at UTC or any of those schools that you might be looking forward to?
Riley, Augustine,
okay,
Ben Maholtz, Matt Williams, and then I went to Fargo a few years ago with like Jordy White, Selwyn Porter, and all them at the Citadel.
Yeah, Jordy's at the Citadel, right? So what weight are you going to wrestle?
I think I'm going to redshirt this year, but as a 31. I've probably grown like an inch or two since I've been here, so they're going to try to build me into a 41.
Okay, all right, that's awesome. So let's go back to your high school career, which was outstanding. 3-time state champ, is that right? 3-time, right?
Yeah, 3
in South Carolina, but you had a tough final match. Lost to Hunsberger in the finals. Kind of take us through, because you were, you rolled for a long time in South Carolina and I watched you wrestle against Nick Masters at the Southern Slam, and you guys were close and those sorts of things. And your match against Hunsberger was good.
Yeah.
But, it wasn't a bad match. It's just one of those things where that might have been a little surprising for a lot of people. So how did you kind of approach it? You know what I mean?
So it was like one of those things where, I don't know, mentally, like the pressure, like 4-time state champ, the first one at my school ever. So I don't know if like the pressure got to me, but I didn't wrestle the full 6 minutes. And against somebody like that can wrestle like he can, you have to wrestle the full 6 minutes to be able to win the match.
Yeah. Were you, I've noticed in some of your other matches, you get a takedown, you get up early, those sorts of things. You were up on Hunsberger, but you weren't up by the number of points that you normally are up by. Was there anything that was going on in your head as far as, I should be scoring right here?
Yeah, my game plan was actually try to get 2 takedowns in the first period, go up 3, and make him wrestle me, like make a mistake. But I got the first takedown, and he got an escape pretty quick. I just couldn't get anything going. He did a good job shutting down my offense. So.
Yeah. Did he present you anything that you were unexpected? Like, did he change? Did it look like he changed his game plan a little bit?
Yeah, like most guys that wrestle, they're not always in my face and stuff. And like every time, like we got in a scramble, like after the scramble, we go back neutral, he was in my face. So it kind of like wore me down a little bit because I didn't really like. I think I had like 4 or 5 tough matches last year, and
Yeah.
that kind of wore me down. So I wasn't really like used to that pace because previous years before, I had a lot of good matches, so I was used to that pace.
Yeah. Yeah. All good. So mentally, after you've lost, and you're walking off the mat, where do you go to in your head, and kind of how do you respond to kind of, all right, you know what, it's a match, and I'm just gonna get back on the horse. So what was going through your head?
On to the next, I had North South the next weekend, and I
Right.
wrestled Oakley. I had to wrestle Oakley from North Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
3-time state champ, going to App State, and then I had to wrestle Matt Williams, just going to UTC.
Yeah.
He's a number 2, so I was just like on to the next, and then focus on college, work out and get ready for that.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the All-Star match because, boy, South Carolina in that match, you guys look good.
Yeah, we came to bring it.
Yeah, you did. You guys really wrestled exceptionally well, won some great matches against what I would think would be some really good competition. So it was the second year of the All-Star, is that right? Or
I think it's like for North Carolina and South Carolina, it's the second year, yes.
Yeah. So what was it like being a part of that All-Star team in that duel?
It's like you're around, like you're on the South Carolina team, so you're like on the team with like the best seniors in the state and probably some of the best wrestlers in the state. So it's like you get like you have to show up and wrestle good, or like, yeah.
You feel a little bit of a pressure to like you need to do that for them?
Yeah, like because they're showing up to win the match and they're doing the same thing for you, so you have to give them the same effort back.
Yeah, I'm with you. I got you. So, for those of us, so I cover the Southeast, North Carolina down to Florida. I used to coach a long time ago in Florida, now in Alabama, not coaching anymore. But, South Carolina for me was always really interesting. I want you to do a little tutorial for me because you and I have gone back and forth because South Carolina is one of the states that I don't really, you guys have an upper state and a lower state,
yeah.
Right? And it's almost, that's the prequel to the state tournament, right?
Yes.
So what is upper state and lower state?
All right, so upper state, so basically what they do is they take the state and they cut it in half.
Okay.
Like at Columbia, they cut it in half at Columbia, and the schools above the line go to Lawrence, which is where upper state's usually hosted at. And
okay.
Then, well, that's your 5A, and then the rest of them go to lower state.
Okay. So, and is the designation of lower state kind of because South Carolina along the coast is more low country, or
mm-hmm.
that's the reason for it?
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Okay. So how growing up wrestling in South Carolina, preparing to kind of compete, at that level, that sort of thing. What did you seek out? I know you went to Fargo.
Yeah.
NHSCAs, right?
Yeah, I went there.
Yeah. Are those the kind of tournaments that you use to kind of gear yourself to be at that top level within South Carolina?
Well, it was really like, so my coach, Jimmy at Dark Horse, it was kind of like one of those things where it's like, you train to be a state champ, you're going to be a state runner, a state placer. You train to be an All-American, you're going to be a state champ. You train to be a national champ, you'll be an All-American. But if you train to be the best, like, in the world, you'll be a national champ.
Okay. So that was the mentality from when you were little?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I said, was that the mentality that kind of was drilled in when you were even little?
Well, I didn't start wrestling. No, I started wrestling like 4th or 5th grade. And
okay.
I started taking it serious until about the 7th grade. That's when I started like club and traveling and stuff like that.
Okay. All right. So what was it? So you started in 4th, 5th grade. What was it about wrestling that went, you know what, this is the sport for me?
Well, at first, like my dad used to be like a real big baseball, like he used to be a baseball coach and stuff like that. So like that was my main sport. And like the winter, you can't play baseball because it's really cold outside. So my dad was like, we need to find you something to stay in shape. And basketball just wasn't it for me. So
Can't imagine, right? um, so, so, what was the thing that shifted from I'm going to focus on wrestling now and not baseball?
um, well, my dad, he started like following wrestling and stuff and was like looking at all the college stuff. And he wants me to be like the best I can be. So if I was going to play baseball and wrestling, I'm going to have to like train like 12 months out of the year. So I was like, I'm just going to put it all into wrestling because baseball is like, you can go to college, but like you're not, there's just a small chance to get like to like the major leagues and stuff like that. In wrestling, like it's hard to get to college, but you don't have to like rely on your team to like do that for you.
Yeah, yeah, and
And
that's
I'm kind of like I like doing things my own way, so like doing my own stuff. So I think wrestling more appealed to me because I didn't have to like rely on like my teammate to make a throw or like to take a shot for me.
yeah, yeah. So what position did you play baseball?
I played center field.
Center field. So were pretty fast.
I was all right. I could just like read fly balls pretty well.
Okay, because wrestlers, I don't know that we're necessarily known as being the fastest people in the world.
Yeah.
So very cool. So you talked about redshirting this coming year,
Mhm.
right? Hopefully wrestling in some, unattached and some open tournaments, those
Had
sorts of
that.
things. And then kind of working your way into the lineup in the future. So looking at Gardner Webb right now, who are the people that you kind of work with? Well, you will be working out with, and
Um,
drilling with, that sort of thing.
my roommate, he's from Alaska. He was a Fargo All-American. And then our 141, Trayvon, I think he was a Fargo All-American also. He's from Virginia. He wrestled at ODU.
Oh, he transferred in from ODU,
And then
which
Will Edmiston, he wrestled with me at my club. So
and Will's from no,
Norman.
Lake Norman up in North Carolina, right?
Mhm.
Awesome, cool. So Alaska, your roommate's from Alaska. So this has got to be like a whole other world.
I think he's adjusted to it pretty well.
Okay. Very, very different. I mean, the Southeast is got to
Uh,
be a little bit more humid
yeah.
than Alaska. Very cool. So, I want to wish you the best of luck. I know, we were all kind of trying to get through, you know, uh, you know, coronavirus and all those sorts of things. But I hope to see you guys, see you on the mat, maybe at the Hokie Open or,
Yeah, but I plan on
yeah,
going to the scuffle too.
the Scuffle.
Mhm.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll get to see you compete. 33 or 41 this year?
33 this year, most likely.
33 this year. Awesome. Bailey, I appreciate you taking the time
No
and
problem.
best of luck this year.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.